Here we are at Trove News Short. I have with me today Colin Percival, no stranger to our channel. This is an article, we thought we'd talk about it. It was an article in the Scotsman newspaper, and it was by Gabriel Miney. Now, Gabriel is he's the president of the Scottish Energy Forum, and we thought we'd see it and just walk through some of the points that Gabriel made. Colin, where does it start?
Well, we used to be self-sufficient in terms of energy. I should say 75% of our energy in the UK comes from oil and gas.
And that's today's figure.
That's today's.
Yeah.
And even over the period to 2050, it will average about 50%. And a big chunk of that is coming from imports. We import about 40% of our total energy needs, much of that oil and gas from Norway. And that will just increase over time as domestic production declines faster than demand does. So the gap just gets bigger as the years progress.
And so all we can do, if we're not producing it, we've got to import it. Now, UK renewables, that's gained a lot of momentum recently, but it's really not going fast enough to fill that gap, is it?
No, and you can't have, at current technology, you can't have 100% renewables, because you have to have backup for when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine. And the only reliable backup at the moment is a gas-fired turbine, i.e. a gas-fired power station.
So also, the domestic gas production, in terms of the emissions from that, it's actually 7.5 times lower than the LNG imports, and these are these liquefied natural gas tankers that bring gas from overseas. So significantly less emissions if you produce gas locally. And in terms of the carbon footprint for homegrown oil production, well, it's 3 times lower than importing barrels. That's what the article essentially says.
Yeah, and as we say, the imports are just getting up. So all we're doing is offshoring our emissions to higher emissions production. The bulk of our LNG imports are from the USA, frack gas, which we won't allow to be produced here. And we could produce gas offshore safely and environmentally with much lower emissions. Yeah.
And of course, the other thing is, not only are we exporting the problem overseas, so it's not on our account, it's somebody else's problem. They could also have different governance, and I think we addressed that in a recent video that we did. We'll put a link down below, and that actually was to do with Iraq and having a look at the gas in and around the Basra region in southern Iraq.
Imports create no wealth for the UK, create no jobs, don't provide any taxes, and basically give you higher emissions. So why wouldn't you?
It's a classic lose-lose.
Yeah, produce the stuff domestically if you can.
Yeah. But you see, the UK politicians, they can claim, hey, we're reducing emissions. Well, of course we are. We're on a declining production profile, so it's been easy over the last decade or more to reduce our emissions because we're producing far less. One of the factors.
It's a deindustrialisation strategy. Your carbon emissions go down because you move your industry elsewhere. And not only in oil and gas, it's happened in other heavy industries, and more of that will come under the current political climate.
But the contribution to global emissions actually goes up.
Goes up.
I mean, it's a bit crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely. You pass the problem to a jurisdiction with lower standards, which is further away, and then import the stuff.
And crazy.